Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're on this channel, you have subscribed to learn about lead generation tactics and or designing your brand in designing tactics. With that being said, today we want to teach how to use AI to master a skill set by intentionally listening to customers. Now, if you guys are in my network, I gifted 15 credits to LinkedIn Premium. Now, what that includes is you can try all the different ones. You could try Sales Navigator. You can try business franchise. Like it's a couple of them, and there's different branches of it. And when I give you the free subscription, I think it's 2 months, and you could check out those different programs. I think I seen it was like 4 or 5 different ones that you can use. And since it's 4 or 5 different ones that you can use, you can actually try out the different systems of LinkedIn. With that being said, I tried out LinkedIn Premium and I like it. Like I was actually like turned off by Sales Navigator. I didn't like it at the first time. I thought it was a nuisance. I didn't think you really needed it because I kind of have like CRM systems. And because I believe in like CRM systems, I didn't think it was as advanced as CRM systems. And with that being said, I found myself kind of turned off by Sales Navigator. I thought it was a waste of money. But when I found LinkedIn Learning and you can use AI to work on your pitch, I kind of wanted to do it live so I could get like a little bit of coaching or just network and stuff like that. I think in my creation of people, I feel like, I grew up in a culture where we focus on like tabloids and stuff. So like I kind of find myself thinking that people only come into your business to help you, like so that they can like figure you out and then, oh, I know this about you, so I'm gonna steal this, I'm gonna steal that, I'm gonna get to know this, I'm gonna get to know that, and then I'm gonna wean this into my business. But I'm here to clear the air. Excellency is not that. Excellency is clarity and human connection. We're here to help each other. We're here to be of service. It's that simple. And when it comes to love language, there's acts of services. That's what business lives in. So the acts of service is I'm going to show my weakness in this, and I'm going to show that our primordial technique can help with this. So you put about a timer for like 45 minutes daily, and you just work at it, work at it, work at it. Now, what am I going to tell you some of my strengths are? Some of my strengths are I know my talking points. I know how to connect to the person. I know how to connect to the person's listening to where they really get something for themselves. They get inspired, and then they don't feel manipulated to make a purchase. They actually feel inspired when they make the purchase. It's exciting. It's like when Rockstar dropped Grand Theft Auto. You sit there and you're like, oh my goodness, like I want to get that. Or like I said, Spiral the Dragon. Video games are very impressive. So, it's like when a Call of Duty comes out, you're waiting in those lines, or the different shoes, the different fashion. That's how it should feel when you're doing sales. If it feels like you're thinking that the person isn't good enough to think for themselves, they are cheap, you don't know the essence of sales. Sales should be passion. Sales should be excitement because this is the first time that this person is getting to know this product. And you get to bless them with this product. So, when you go to activations, I usually do activations. If it's an activation for like a new premiere of a movie, you're excited, you're passing out gifts, you're getting to know the customer. If you're not on that type of alignment with sales, you're actually being insane. And insanity is when you do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. So you can't be insane when you're doing sales. So with that being said, I noticed, even with your worth. So let's start with your worth. When people try to get to know you to be your friend, they want to teach you, okay, yeah, I'm a cool person, but you see that they're lazy. You see their appearance don't look good. You see they don't have their hair to where it should look. When it's that way, you find yourself not wanting to connect to that individual. And when you don't connect to that individual, you find that you don't have anything in common, and you just find that they just are not the authority in that niche. Well, this isn't about authority. This is about mechanisms. So you could have where I could be the authority and teach you, and this is just the mechanisms. And so we're teaching digital systems today. And with digital systems, what that entails is that it's for the audience that's looking for the learning of an advanced new skill to best benefit in their companies. And it's just an exclusive live training with a call to action to book a intro consultation. Um, so it's about going to be like maybe a 50-minute demonstration of LinkedIn Sales AI. And I have where I sent 15 referral links to get the 2 months free. So when I downloaded it, it gave me 15 referral links. A couple people didn't use them. They have like maybe 20 days left. So please comment down below if you would like Sales Navigator. I could actually get that to you if people don't need it. I had like 2 people say that they already have it. So it has an option where you could cancel it and give it to someone else. So I would have 2 available so you could get the 2 months with Sales Navigator. Now I booked a consultation to do an ad with LinkedIn. They usually get with me, but this person, they keep booking it and they keep rebooking it. And I don't know the ad space very well. So if you want to network and you know about the ad space, please comment down below. I would like to learn about ad space on LinkedIn. I don't know if it's a good space to do ads because I feel like we just write posts and I don't know much about it. So moving on, I should have a meeting today. I have a couple individuals that I was supposed to be meeting today. That doesn't seem like it's going to be a thing, but it could be a thing. So I had like a physical meeting to go to, and then things didn't fall through. I had something where I had like everything set up. And so disorganization has been kind of getting into my business because, well, you are the company you keep. So I've been letting, people around my business that are a little bit disorganized, or, I'm working with certain energies. And this disorganization has been just kind of has been a pattern for the past, what has been past like couple years. But what do I say about that pattern? I say there's something to understand there, and it could become a resource or it could become transformable. So I have been working with a lot of people that are very disorganized. And in that, you expect this, you have high expectations, and then it's like a boom. One could say it could be a love bomb, but I don't believe in love bombs. I believe people are just disorganized. They haven't formulated their thoughts. They haven't formulated what they want from you. And so they just take, and it's a form of their boundaries. So we could work on that. And with that, we're going to go into sales AI. So I explain that because when you do sales, you don't want to go into that culture of, like what can be disgust, distaste, and create that intention with the customer because they think different than you. You have to understand you are not that person. And you have to understand some people, they really don't have the highest viewpoint for themselves. So they show up as victim mind state. They show up as low vibrational, shameful, and it's some pain points that are readily available to you, but you have to think in your mind, is this the pain points that I answer to? So a lot of times I found myself working with mom and pops, and a lot of their systems were, they were outdated. And so I would call the automation system and they would be answering me when they was like leaving the gym or something. And I'd be like, excuse me. And you hear like the gym bag rustling around. And I'd be like, excuse me, I'm looking for this company because no. And they would be like, oh yeah, that's me. And I'll be like, hello? Like, it would be confusion. And so they're on the phone, they have an attitude, and you know what? It's because they failed a lot. So they don't really get the calls that they want. So when they don't really hear like, oh, I'm trying to spend this type of money, they're very depressed on the phone, very distasteful and a little bit rude. So they answer the call. I'm hearing the car door, bing, bing, boom, bing. I'm like, how am I supposed to spend money here? And so I'm very patient and I would just call it out. I'm like, excuse me, I want to do a demo of this presentation this offering here. Can I do that? And they're like, yeah, I guess that's there. And I'm like, who am I speaking to? And they'll be like, I'm the CEO. I'm like, oh, well, congrats on your business. You just opened it. Yeah, but I've been running this for like 4 years and I'm overwhelmed here because this one just opened up 2 weeks ago and everybody keeps calling out. So you kind of called at a wrong time. And I'm like, oh, well, that's what I kind of called for. I called because I actually do consultations. How can I serve you? And so they're venting, 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 and they're telling me all this tea. And then I'm sitting there, I'm like, nothing you said was like a pain point. It's personal. So the bottleneck was internal, and the bottleneck that was internal was just I'm overwhelmed and I don't have the resources for this. And because I'm overwhelmed, I am in rejection energy. So I saw you were being provided the customers, but you're so like maybe burnt out. You weren't practicing daily, like a habit, or you weren't practicing daily living into your mission and your values. You're just answering the phone, just like doing the motions of it. So I kind of called it out. We got an awareness on a couple company calls, and then I just started seeing just red flags, like, emailing me all crazy, like we're a married couple or like a dating. And it was, if I'm honest, it's like it's a distinction between men and women. Women, they're a little more cattier. Like they'll click the phone, and like you don't have like if they told you to bring like a certain if they said like, okay, bring certain sweats, and you come to the event, like it's a gym event, and you don't have those sweats, they'll just close the door in your face. Like women are a little bit more distinct with their disrespect. Men, they'll argue with you and you'll go around in circles, and or they'll just be just like ignorant and you can't get a hold of them. So I was just running into a lot of bottlenecks, but it didn't upset me. It inspired me to do the 180 digital product challenge. And I still had it when I was running into them. I get inspiration. So I was like, how can I be of service here? And a lot of people I found were like fake positivity. And that was kind of the pain point that we had. So why would I show up with fake positivity? Well, I would show up with fake positivity because I got to have this business to make it. So a lot of people lived in this thinking, and it was a universal pain point. If I gotta have this business to prove to my family I'm enough, I gotta have this business to make it. And that is not what having a business is about. You do have the business, you have 3 different businesses, and it's like, I gotta have the business to do this or that. Why in the world would you create from there? And why in the world would you live in that thinking? So I want to be vulnerable because I'm explaining that other business owners were vulnerable. I want to be vulnerable, and I want to do a live demo of this sales AI because I was inspired. I practiced with it for a couple days, or like for all like yesterday and stuff, and I had fun with it. So I want to see if in my network people have a strength here, and if you can see the weaknesses. And you can also comment down below some tips, some tricks, or you could share some videos from your lives or from your business, some resources. I just want to network today because today is our tips day, and I'm just looking for tips out in my network, and I'm also showing up just vulnerable. Okay, so with the sales role plays, this is LinkedIn Learning, and again, you can get this with the link I give you. I can give you 15. I have 15 credits when I signed up, and then you get 2 months free. So with that being said, you have intentional listening to customers is kind of the role playing that we're doing. So you have to have intentional listening to customers to play this game. So what is the conversation about? Well, a guest stayed at a boutique hotel, and I'm in hospitality and tourism, so I can help with this, and I have some experience. A guest stayed at a boutique hotel and was informed of a $35 a night resort fee at check-in. Signed the registration card, enjoyed the pool fitness center, and is now calling to demand the fee to be removed from their final bill because they never actually use the amenities. So what makes it successful? What they're teaching and coaching us to do is acknowledge and validate the customer with empathy without sounding smug, redirect and reframe using a high road explanation, decline to remove any of the charges for invalid complaints while staying courteous. So 2 years ago, we did a series on how the customer's always right. But here it says the customer's always right, but also acknowledge that they're not going to get things for free because it is integrity. So the hotel guests will have LinkedIn AI will have the hotel guest, which is AI, play a frustrated patient who uses brief, pointed complaints about price and services of hospital care. They push for discounts and hint at removing some of the line items without direct insults. So they push for discounts, like this person's basically cheap, is what I'm hearing, and hint at removing some of the line items without direct insults. When feelings are acknowledged clearly, they calm somewhat, but will test boundaries once before backing down. So I can assure you, when you're dealing with a customer that tests boundaries, you can feel like it'll be taken personally within you. So you actually have to have a strong skill set. So please acknowledge that these are complex skill sets. So you can actually work on complex skill sets in LinkedIn AI role playing.
I just checked out and I'm looking at my bill. There's a $35 resort fee on here for every single night. I never used the pool once. I was here for work. I want that taken off my bill right now.
I'm up.
Hi. Yeah, so like I said, I was here strictly for work. I didn't touch the pool or anything resort-like, yet I'm being charged every night. Why should I pay a resort fee for amenities I clearly didn't use?
Okay. So I have to acknowledge, validate, redirect, and reframe, and then decline to remove the charges. Okay. I'm here. Yes, I noticed that you did
Okay,
save us.
good, because this really shouldn't be complicated. I didn't use any of that stuff, and I'm not interested in paying for things I don't use. So, what are you going to do to fix this on my bill today?
So I notice. So I notice you are a little bit short.
Okay, so I'm really not following why I should be paying this. I was in meetings all day, no time for resort anything. Other hotels don't charge me for stuff I don't use. Why can't you just remove it this time and note my profile?
Okay. Yes. I noticed that they did charge you. However, okay,
However, what? From my side,
oh,
it just looks like an extra charge I got nothing out of. I didn't use the pool, I didn't use the gym. So, what's the justification for keeping this on my bill instead of taking it off?
I would like to acknowledge that you, I would like to acknowledge that, yes, you did spend a lot of money with our company. And I would like to acknowledge that it is a little bit offensive when you have to pay extra fees that you don't understand. However, this would be a processing fee that we actually cannot physically take off because when you have stayed at our company, it is included. It's like a resort fee. So when we take off the resort fee, basically what you're saying is you don't want to stay here because it is included in the price. So I understand you didn't use any amenities, and I understand that you do not see that you have to pay these fees. However, when you signed with the booking, it did state that there will be resort fees. And I'm sorry if they were exclusively not included in bold lettering, but I can stay here and assist you in understanding why you had to pay the resort fees. And I can stay here and understand why you feel like you have been misled and why you feel like you've been gypped, because I do believe that we're here to make sure that you have the best experience. However, we're not having an understanding because I don't understand how the resort fee is making you feel like you got wronged or taken advantage of. Can you please explain to me why you feel like you got wronged or taken advantage of?
Okay, I hear all of that, and I get that it's in the paperwork. But from my perspective, I paid a lot to stay here, and this feels like a surprise add-on. Even if you can't remove it, is there really nothing you can do, like a credit or some kind of adjustment, given I didn't use any of it?
Okay, so you feel like it came to you as a surprise. Well, what I can assure you is ignorance is safe with us. If you didn't understand the fine print, I would have to legally tell you that that is not our responsibility. However, I can really take the time to explain that there is a resort fee usually when you book with us. The resort fee kind of shows up as taxes, but I'd be lying. Taxes is a different fee, but a resort fee is basically you know that you will be here for the next couple of days. So it's kind of like an insurance. So like if anything goes wrong in the room, it's like a little small amount of insurance, but it's really not insurance. But it shows up as that. It's basically the fees that you pay to be here. So if it's a subscription, it will kind of be like a subscription. So basically, it could possibly go to your Wi-Fi usage. It could possibly go to your cable bill. It's really not acknowledged, but it's a small fee in the sense that you're using Wi-Fi, you're using cable and different stuff like that. And that's what we charge as the resort fee. So amenities don't matter.
Okay, I get that you're trying to explain it, but comparing it to insurance or a subscription just makes it sound even more like a hidden extra. I didn't damage anything. I barely used the room except to sleep. So, bottom line, is there any way to reduce this fee at all, even partially, given how little I used?
I acknowledge it. So we are getting that you didn't agree to this bill. You feel that this bill came at a surprise. You feel like you did not get the value for this bill. But what I would say is, um, what's going on now that makes it feel too expensive?
What makes it feel too expensive is that I'm basically paying an extra $35 a night for nothing I actually chose or used. That adds up over several nights. I understand you have policies, but given that, are you really saying there's absolutely no flexibility on this at all?
I get that. How in the past has this worked out for you? Have you paid resort fees in the past?
Sometimes I've paid them, sometimes other hotels have waived or adjusted them when it didn't make sense. That's kind of why I'm asking here. Given my situation this day, is there really nothing you can do on this specific fee?
What risk are you most concerned about?
Honestly, the only risk I care about here is overpaying for this trip when my company's watching expenses closely. I just don't want to feel like I'm throwing money away. So I'll ask one more time. Is there any flexibility at all on that resort fee?
So you feel like you have overpaid with this resort fee. What would be your budget with staying with us? And did you book us for affordability or did you book us for uh, luxury and such?
I booked you for a balance of comfort and reasonable price. So not the cheapest, but not to be nickel and dimed either. My budget's basically what my company approved, which this fee pushes. At this point, can you please just tell me clearly whether the resort fee can be adjusted, or if it's definitely staying as is?
Okay, so this pushes past your budget. Okay. So when you booked this, you had a specific budget. Did you speak on the phone with one of our customer service reps and let us know about your budget needs?
No, I booked online, so I didn't talk to anyone about my budget ahead of time. That's why this fee feels like a surprise now. At this point, I really just need a straight answer. Is that resort fee staying on the bill, or can anything be done about it?
Our pricing reflects the results we deliver, and it just reflects just the business that we serve. And when it comes to the resort fee, we would it help to we would like to see how the client saved with us. One thing that we can do when it comes to the resort fee is when you call ahead of time, like when you book earlier, you do get about 15% off. What I can do is I can talk to my boss, and if you feel that the resort fee wasn't something that you need, would you be interested in booking another vacation with us? And then we can apply a 15% discount to your next stay with us.
Okay, I get that you're offering something for a future stay, and that's helpful if I come back. But my concern is this bill, right now on this trip. So, just to be clear, for this current stay, the resort fee is staying on the bill and can't be reduced, correct?
Yes. So in the system, we do not have the options to change it. It comes with the bill. However, if I speak with my manager, I could possibly see if we can apply a 15% discount just for your loyalty for your next stay. Would you be interested?
Okay, so for this stay, the resort fee has to remain as is, but you're offering to look at 15% off a future stay. I would consider coming back, so go ahead and note that on my profile. I still don't love the fee, but I do appreciate you taking the time to explain everything and look for some kind of solution.
Sure. So when I speak to my manager and they give you the 15% discount for the next day, we understand your value system is that transparency is key. And with that, we can walk you through our pricing structure for your next stay with us. And when you book with us, we can have a representative kind of check in while you're staying with us, call your phone, and just make sure you understand the transparency of the fees that you're spending. So if you stay like maybe another 2 weeks, maybe in the future, we can have someone call like weekly and check if you understand the fees. Is this a service that you would like to book with us?
That actually sounds helpful. If I do book again, I'd like that kind of transparency and check ins so there are no surprises. For this day, I understand the fee is staying, and I'm okay closing things out here. Thanks for walking through everything with me. Thanks, we've reached the end of this conversation. Please hit the end session button now.
Oh, so it gives you feedback. I was sweating a little bit. She was a little strong. Okay, so when it comes to the role play feedback, I guess it tells you your strengths. I need to write this stuff down because I need to know these things. Ooh, so okay, so we're gonna review this. So if you guys don't have Sales Navigator, get it now. I really like it. So this is my job. I demo things. So you're probably like, ooh, she's over here being attention seeking. I think that's my gifts. I think it's perfect. And strengths and weaknesses all matter. So I forgive you for your insecurities. However, let's show up present and let's learn something today. So if you have like some negativity, clear it now and let's get to the review of this product. So when it comes to my strengths, they said I had good insights on empathy and validation. With that being said, they said nice job explicitly, and I think it was explicit, naming the guest feelings and experiences. For example, calling out the surprise fees that can feel offensive. So she was really offended. It's like almost the feeling of being robbed, and they explain it, being misled and taken advantage of. And you would never want the customer to feel taken advantage of. Like when you show up and you're like, oh, here's some extra fees, it makes them feel like they don't have control. So you would run into a more controlling customer because the customer feels like you're impeding on boundaries. So companies can do that. Companies can impede on boundaries via price, and it feels like debt. With that being said, it shows care for the emotional side and not just the policy. So when you show up as a customer service representative, when you make someone feel guilty, I don't think they would book with you any further. because you're not supposed to show up making them feel guilty for just being alive. And some people can do that. So when you feel like it's out of your control, you have to show empathy and validation. You have to keep validating, I'm sorry, but we don't say sorry. You have to keep validating how they felt out of control. They felt like you're pushing in on their boundaries. And finances can be a boundary issue. So and look, this is just my thinking. So what it says, my strengths is maintaining boundaries on fees. So it knows it. So when it comes to boundaries, I had strong adherence to the goal of not removing the resort fee. So not only did I notice that she felt the company impeded on her boundaries, but I kept my boundaries strong too. I'm not removing the resort fee. I don't play into the victim mindset, but I do understand the victim mindset. I stay neutral. The explanation that the fee is part of the stay and cannot be taken off while still apologizing and offering to explain keeps policy intact without being hostile. I've worked with, I kind of work more supervisorial and managing positions, and a lot of times you can run into at hotels transient, or you could run into people that they just, something's going on in their life. So when those come, they are very undisciplined and they get very attacky. And so I have management skills. And so I can see some of the employees when they're just a regular employee, they're still learning customer service, and they get so nervous in their body that they start promising things that we can't do. And they start putting discount codes in there. Some could possibly put their discount code in there, and it gets crazy. Like you're stealing from the company, and you're being a little bit abused. It's not that you're abusive, you're unconsciously allowing yourself to be abused because you're letting them impede on your boundaries. So I had to learn this because you're being a people pleaser. And I'm not gonna lie, in customer service, I was more a people pleaser with the managers. They would yell at me all crazy, and I'd stand there confused because I was like, you told me to go get this, and they'd be like, we told you stay right there. But they're so stressed out, they don't even write down where they reassign somebody. So if I was on the register, they would tell me do go backs. So I'm doing go backs for the next 2 hours, and I'm getting great with them. And the manager's calling me on my walkie-talkie or texting, and they're like, where are you at? I'm doing go backs, or I'm in this other area, this other position. And they're like, we didn't tell you to go there. I'm like, ooh, this is a communication issue. It's a boundary issue. So long story short, accountability matters, because when you are accountable as a manager, you're writing down what you assign people to. And that's why you have those check sheets. So if I told you to clean the bathroom at 2 p.m., I go look at 2 p.m. I'm like, okay, Sincerity, she cleaned the bathroom. Okay, nice. I like it. And then I check it off, and I go check and see if Sincerity remembers she cleaned the bathroom. So I'll go ask her, Sincerity, did you clean the bathroom? And did you take your break? And she's like, yeah, I cleaned the bathroom. Everything's okay. So that's kind of management's job, is to kind of communicate a little bit healthier. So a lot of times when people would be working on boundaries in customer service, sometimes the boundaries are too strong where they deny everything. They don't even give them a chance to get any type of fees or anything. Or in customer service, they find themselves over giving. It's either under giving or over giving when it comes to customer service. So offering alternative value is something you have to learn. And that's an upsell too. I am trained in upselling. So when you are in customer service, upselling is we get another $1,000 from you, but you get a discount that's $15, but 15%. But with that being said, it's perfect for you. Why? Because you get to relax. This is a work trip. Now I upsold you a new trip, but it's not a work trip this time. So you get to stay here, and you really get to be out of that work trip energy. So they said, nice work for proposing a future 15% discount and additional transparency check-in services for a later stay. They said that it reframes the conversation toward ongoing relationships and shows a willingness to find some kind of win-win despite not changing this bill. So it's a win-win situation, and I'm not changing, but I do have willingness there. Then when it comes to it, it's staying engaged under pressure. So throughout repeated questions like, is there any flexibility at all? The response stays calm and conversational, and the guest was given space to explain concerns. So they were able to see there's some flexibility. I remained not like creating them as a victim even further by attacking them. It was a charismatic conversation, and they were able to fully explain. They were cutting me off because I don't really know how to work the AI. So she was like, I'm sure, I just want to hear some answers. So it brought a clear close with mutual understanding. And that's how you want to close out. You want to understand that you're under pressure, but create mutual understanding. So here's areas of improvement. It says, empathy, tone, and wording. So it says strengthen empathy by avoiding phrases that can sound blaming or dismissive, such as ignorance is safe with us. Yeah, I messed up there, so excuse me. Or emphasizing legal responsibility. Instead, lead with concise, warm validation before any explanation, and keep language simple and non-judgmental. So I thought it would be healthy, but that could possibly be like trauma bonding, like, yeah, you a dummy, but we love dummies. Like, I don't think that's safe in a job environment. So I won't use that. So when it comes to clear, redirect, and concise explanation, improve the redirect by answering the core question sooner and more directly. Rather than long analogies, insurance, subscription, and many follow-up questions, briefly explain what the fee covers. State the no waiver boundary clearly, then offer the future stay solution in one or two sentences. So I guess it says I have to improve my redirects, and I have to improve answering core questions sooner and more directly. So I didn't really know what the resort fees were because I didn't really have a synopsis in the back. So I should have looked at some fake resort fees and kind of really built it. And then rather than long analogies, like insurance subscription and many follow-up questions, I need to briefly explain what the fee covers. State the no waiver boundary clearly, and then offer the future stay solution in two or more sentences. So I will work on that. I kind of don't agree because conversations aren't like that. Conversations like are bubbly, so for me to just quick and concise, like it would feel like micromanaging, it would feel controlling. So I don't agree with that. But that's what they gave me. It's areas for improvement. So my tone, my empathy, tone, and wording, and then redirecting and concise explanation. I probably was going around in circles, so I could look at that. So when it comes to my transcript, the response didn't engage with the guest's concern or set a professional tone, and opening with a brief acknowledgement and an invitation to explain more would better establish rapport or control of the call. So for example, thank you for reaching out about your bill. I can hear this is frustrating. Let me pull up your reservation so we can review that resort fee together. Now, that's correct, but I do know at work we do have like scripts and stuff, or we're trained there. So when it comes to AI, it's not really the same because you do have scripts. Like you always run off a script or you just know what to say. So I do think I should say, thank you for reaching out for my bill. I can hear this is frustrating. Let me pull up your reservation so we can review that resort fee together. So to acknowledge validation and redirect, reframe. So it teaches and decline the removing the charge. They said they're okay. I'm okay here. Oh, it's literally me talking. Okay, so speaking the internal plan out loud breaks the realism of the role play and doesn't address the guest. It's more effective to applying that structure in a natural customer-facing way instead of narrating it. So for example, I would say, I understand you're here for work and that this fee feels unnecessary. Let me explain how the resort fee works and what it covers, and then we can talk through your options together. I like that. So far, it breaks down the whole communication. And instead of the ignorance one, I need to have a nice attempt to explain. I guess ignorance is safe can sound blaming and can kind of sound catty, like you a dummy, but it's like passive aggressive. I think it could come off passive aggressive, and I can own that. So if it comes off passive aggressive, they're suggesting that it makes sense that this felt like a surprise, especially since you didn't plan to use the amenities. The resort fee is a standard mandatory charge that covers things like Wi Fi and access to the facilities, and it applies to all guests. While I'm not available to remove it, I can walk through exactly what it includes so it feels more transparent. And then when it seems like it includes like 8 different things, it maybe even includes like a guest discount at the um, guest store. What is that? Like the guest shop. It might excite them. So you could also kind of, I kind of would upsell on that. Well, when you pay for the resort fee, you actually get a free drink at the bar. So I think that kind of would excite them too because they feel like they got wronged. So you got to know what it includes, is what I think they're telling me. So I like it. I think this is awesome. I need to work on my sales. Um, I think I got it, but when it comes to the scenario, like I get a little bit uncomfortable, and in how uncomfortable it is, I just felt embarrassed. I think we kind of live in a world of, you want to be cool. And it's safe to say, no, you don't have to be like cool all the time. So I'm gonna end this share and then we got like 10 more minutes to discuss. So if anyone has any questions for me, go on ahead and comment them down below. I'll start to answer questions. I know like sometimes when I do my lives, like some of the questions come in later. So I'm open to that too. I don't know much about Sales Navigator, but when I tell you, I think it's fun. I think it's very transparent. Before, what I didn't like about Sales Navigators, I just felt like it was kind of like a little bit of a nuisance. I like these learnings because I answer, when you have the voice, they say when you do those all day, like you get exclusive like rights and points to be the voice of like LinkedIn. I like that about LinkedIn, is that you get to be the voice of um, of the page. So people come to you, they're like, they know about branding, they know about this. So I think this is a new addition to that and I like it. So you have, not only do you have the role play, but you have the AI coaching. So you can ask them about specific challenges you're facing at work. Um, I know yesterday was going to help me work on my pitch for my 180-day digital product challenge. I'll do that for like another live. So you have AI role play, hands-on tech. You could advance your skills on tech. So it's hands-on introduction, data engineering and stuff like that. And then you could get your certifications here. I can certify in Microsoft, Adobe. I would certify in Adobe, but I use a little more Canva. But I'm Adobe trained since I was young. I'll be going ham. So I like photography, so I'll go around different places and I will shoot with the photography. I'll put cool edits on it, but my edits could be a little more advanced. I don't know Canva, so when people see my Canva edits, they're like, "This is mid." I'm like, "I know. I'm an Adobe girl." But I didn't go to school for Adobe. It's a hobby. So it has my career plan in here. I like it. Hmm. So yeah, if you guys need those credits, please comment down below. I can see if I have some extras available. I know 2 people denied it, so you have access to it. And I'm just here staying for the next 5 minutes to answer some questions. So yeah, I'm feeling a little uncomfortable because I was supposed to be at a meeting right now, but things didn't fall through. Because they didn't fall through, I just kind of just canceled it. I emailed them and didn't really get an email back, but we kind of have understanding. So it's a weird dynamic. Like you can feel that something's there. This is like the second time that's happened. And at the time, something like I don't know what happened. I think I just didn't have gas or something. And I was about to get gas and then something happened. Oh, I think the address was confusing or something. So with this company, it's been kind of little things like that. But I do the live events, and those are better. But I was just wanted to get to know the person today. So I was a little bummed out because I was like, last minute something happened. So definitely just being patient. Personally, I don't think we live in a world where we have to prove ourselves, but I do know it's a little newer, women being in policy and women being in positions of power in America. However, like globally, it's been a thing. There's been, queens and there's been a bunch of different things. So, America wise, we do come from like women supposedly didn't have rights. So when I stand in that energy in someone's energy field, I get it. So if you are like, they call it a double minority, like I am a Black woman and I'm a woman, um, it is uncomfortable for some people to be a double minority. I see it as amazement. I see it as career advancement, and it is an advantage in my career. I don't go into rooms where I feel like a double minority, but I do feel around certain men there is a power dynamic that they believe in, and it's not announced. And if they had issues with their family lineage where the women were empowerment, but probably showed up a little bit more aggressive in empowerment, they view that as everybody. So some people, that is their fuel to their fire. Like I became in this position of power because the women in my household, they were dominating or they were very in power dynamics I didn't understand. So when someone's in their power, they can show up as a threat. I really don't attract that to me, but I do see in my viewpoint that sometimes what is going on is that some companies their dynamics are a little different. So they may not know in their lineage that that's playing forth. So when women show up, I can see the patterns that happen, and it's these little tiny things, and I don't think those are bottlenecks. I think those are like just blind spots in companies. So I'll see women up there and different things will be different from the male, and then the woman showing up there and she's got the shoulders down and she's not getting the criteria or the experience she should. And I don't believe that should be a thing. I think that is a weakness, a weak spot that you can work out. And I think that woman's actually a blessing. So I live in that thinking. So, have there been like power dynamics with men in companies? No, but I'll run into it and it's strong confusion because, 1950s were like so long ago. Baby boomers, they experienced certain things, but when the war came, they started to see, okay, we can use women in the factory. So if your mind goes there, like, okay, historically women can help, you can kind of get out of that fear mindset that like she might be catty, she might be emotional because emotions are healthy, so when it comes to um networking, sometimes dynamics will keep happening and you just have to be patient. You have to be like, okay, there's fear here. And if fear is online, do I really want to answer the call of that pain point? Like what is showing up and how do I want to get to it? So when I start to see like there's fear that needs to be cleared and I need to look at it, I stay in my boundaries, like how you said earlier with boundaries, and I notice things. And if like no one booked a consultation. It's like, hey, this is my issues with fear. It's not for me to dig into someone's viewpoint and call it out. I think that's an overshare, and I remain in my boundaries. So I can say they are healthy, like getting back to me, like they'll message certain things. But there are certain themes in my life that they probably don't see a reason to bring into um, their company. So like I'll have things go down and I'll message them and I'll be like, hey, just so you know, I showed up to the event and I couldn't find the building, so I'm down the street. But I'm sending you a message. I actually called him. I was like, I'm sending you a message because I really enjoy this company, but thank you for the invite. And we had a long conversation. They were like, well, that was happening to everybody. And we were just chopping it up for a little bit. And I think it's intimacy, because things will happen and then you get to get more intimate with the CEOs in a healthy way, where you can build an intimate with the CEOs where you get to actually hear them kind of gossip. So I think God kind of puts me, or universe kind of puts me there, but I'm creating boundaries with that too. So when things fall through, I'll call and I'll be like, I don't think I can make it. And then I kind of have that gift of just calling when things is like kind of chaotic. And I help really well with anxiety. So I'll call, I'll be like, hey, just, I don't think I'll make it. And they'll be like, oh, it fell through. And this person didn't open the door on the right time. And I'll just like kind of teach them like, oh, just breathe. You made it. You made this event for us. Thank you for your time. And so I'm very good at calling at random hours and like validating them. And I run into some people that are very good at, I call and I'm air. Oh my gosh, I'm just down the street, and they'll calm me down. So those are healthy dynamics too. So I just look at the positives of it. I don't know. I kind of had an excitement to go because it's like summertime and I wanted to meet like more people and networking in summertime. But again, when you have like, I've been learning with businesses, when you have poor intentions, like, oh, I want to learn more things and get free food, like you'll see the boundaries show up too. So since that showed up, I think my boundaries are like, okay, don't use this for that. This is for business. No. So I have to look at that too. With that being said, we are at 50 minutes. I hope you enjoyed using AI to master skill set. And today's like role play was intentional listening to customers. It states that I can listen a little bit more empathetic, answer a little bit more empathetically. I guess I was a little passive aggressive with ignorance. Ignorance is bliss. No. Ignorance is safe. But I won't say that. I think that's catty, because if they turn up on me, I fully understand. I did the shit. Excuse my language. I did the stuff. So they're like, who you calling ignorant? Huh? And I'm just sitting there like, yeah. Thank you for your input. And I'm actually flattered you think I'm a hoe. I'm actually flattered you think I'm the B word, but it just isn't my stilo. And I would just have to say, God bless your journey and forgive me if I called you ignorant. And then you just calm stuff down. People say like stingy stuff to have you turn up on them. But when you denounce it, like, I'll take responsibility. I think ignorance is like basically calling you a bitch. It's calling you out, like, use a bitch. And excuse my language again, but I don't see ignorance as that. But some minorities, you cannot call them ignorant. I know I insinuated ignorance. Like, I was like, is it because you speak another language? Like, I kind of could have this experience of like showing up like as a professional that's kind of ignorant, and I have this, I don't act like a minority in certain sense, but I don't act like a different race. I act like mine, but I show up kind of arrogantly ignorant, and I'll be like, are you angry because your first language wasn't English? Like, how do I connect to you? And they'll be like, don't you ever say that to me. So I've noticed my passive aggression shows up as like funny. Like, And so like I do have to go in the back because I do think it's funny because I'm laughing at like, how dare you say that, you know? So I've caught myself a couple times. So when they gave me that coaching, I could take it on because I knew, but some people probably wouldn't take it on. But I've seen myself, like I was like, are you angry because your first language is in English? Like I'm not getting the like disconnect. And they'll be like, you are stepping on boundaries you should not step on. And I could get pushy too. I'll be like, well, personally, I just believe you are a poor communicator. And that's what I'm kind of insinuating. And I don't like it. And I think, you know, you being in this position, it's no excuse to say, oh, I only like talking to this specific customer because I'm enabled in speaking. You gotta fix your shutdowns, you know, but I don't coach it. I just be like, oh, so you have a different language. And so you think you're not good enough and it's showing up in my conversation. I don't really want to deal with it. But I do ask like empathetically, and it's a boundary issue for some people. They're like, nah, don't push that button. And so I've been checked and it's healthily. And I apologize. I'm like, you know what? I thought we were connecting, but apparently I'm being arrogant. And they're like, yeah, no, that's arrogance. And I was like, I don't see it as arrogance, but how do I connect to you? And they're like, well, just, you know, listening to the spiel I have, and then I'm done with you. I was like, well, that kind of triggers me too, because you're treating me like I'm a nuisance, you know? So I was wondering if it's English that's a nuisance because it's showing up that I'm a nuisance, but I'm wondering if it's English is a nuisance. And then we'll connect closer on that. They'll be like, oh no, English could be a nuisance. And then we'll get closer. So I could elaborate on such strong terms that people are like, oh, I never saw that English was a nuisance for me. I was like, yeah, it shows up like in some of my family members too, but it's not English. It's like something is a nuisance, but I'm not that nuisance. So that's why I check in. So I could elaborate on like some management skills and I can de-escalate quickly. I'm like, I know I'm not a nuisance because you ain't seen that yet, you know? So we're going to end this live. I hope you learned something for yourself today. And if you did, please click the follow button. Please subscribe to us on Evolutionize Marketing on YouTube or DJ Evolution on YouTube. And also check out DJ City. We have 2 months free trial for you as well. Comment over here if you want a two-month free trial at LinkedIn Premium, and send me your videos in my inbox. I really want you guys to share with me today. Share your videos down below in the comments or share them in my inbox. I want to see if you record yourself, how good you did. I want to see your results. I want to see like what they told you to work on. I want to see what you guys do with LinkedIn AI role playing with your customers. So take care. Have a lovely Tuesday. This is Tuesday Tips with Evolutionize Marketing, and we're teaching you how to use AI to master skill set. And right now, that is the skill set of intentional listening with customers. If you enjoyed this channel, if you enjoyed this video, please follow us for more Tuesday tips every Tuesday. We don't have a specific time, but let's make it around 2 o'clock. And we'll see you next time on Tuesday Tips. We're going to switch it up for you guys. Take care.